I want to talk to you today about a very important topic, about assertiveness. Specifically, we'll be exploring what assertiveness is, and even more importantly, what it is not. Keep listening to learn more. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Growth Philosophy Podcast, a bite-sized weekly podcast focused on empowering you to think better and upgrade your life. So let's talk about assertiveness. What is assertiveness? Well, assertiveness is a form of behavior where you express your own thoughts, feelings, opinions, as well as your own needs and wants, openly and honestly. Simply put, being assertive is about being honest about your own thoughts, feelings, needs, and wants. It is about not getting steamrolled by others, and it most certainly is not about doing something that you do not want to do. Being assertive is about being authentic and honest. It's about being genuine, rather than putting on a mask or trying to go along with others just to gain acceptance or fit in, even if that means doing things that you do not want to do. Putting on a front is not what assertiveness is about. Being genuine is. Ultimately, being assertive is about realizing that your thoughts and needs are important. It is about valuing yourself and your feelings. So now you have a good idea about what being assertive is about. However, in order to really understand what assertiveness is, we also need to look into what it is not. This actually is very important, because there are lots of misconceptions, loads of them, about what assertiveness means. Here are 5 of the most common misconceptions. 1. That being assertive means being rude and disrespectful. 2. That being assertive means stepping on others. 3. To be assertive, you need to pick fights. 4. Being assertive involves losing your temper. And 5. Assertiveness involves manipulating others. Let's look into these misconceptions in a bit more detail now. So the first big misconception about assertiveness involves rudeness. And this is probably the biggest one. This misconception largely stems from this idea that being firm is the same thing as being rude. But they're not. Being firm is about expressing what you want respectfully. That's a key word there, respect. So being firm is about expressing what you want respectfully. Whereas being rude is about expressing what you want or need disrespectfully. There's a huge difference. One is about respect, while the other one is not. Assertiveness certainly is about being firm, but that absolutely does not mean that you need to belittle others or be rude to others to do that. You can express your thoughts, needs, and opinions in a respectful way, and should. Let me put it this way. If you want respect, you have to give respect. And if you're rude, you will very likely get the opposite of what you want. It goes without saying that assertiveness is about being strong. But being strong does not mean being disrespectful. Rudeness and strength are never the same things. Quite the opposite, in fact. The second big misconception on the list is about stepping on others. People often think that being assertive is about imposing your will on others, but that's not what assertiveness is about. Assertiveness is not about forcing your opinion on others. Just because you want your opinion heard does not mean the opinions of others don't matter. It's not an either-or scenario. It's important to understand that having a difference of opinion is okay. Just because you're best friends with someone, for example, does not mean that the both of you will have the exact same opinion about each and everything. In the same way, each and every one of our fingers are different and every fingerprint in the world is unique, every person is unique too. This uniqueness includes how we feel about things. Just because you don't agree with someone's opinion does not mean anything bad. Not at all. You can disagree with someone and still be friends. Just agree to disagree. It is very normal to have different views about things, and you certainly can be assertive without trying to impose your views on others. You don't need others to agree with you to be assertive, and vice versa. At the end of the day, being assertive is about expressing your views and needs. Whether others accept it or even agree with you is besides the point. Speaking up is the goal. Being needy or having others agreeing with you is not. Now let's look at the other big misconceptions. The third big misconception on the list is about picking fights or being confrontational. Now, it goes without saying that most people avoid confrontation, and for good reason. Confrontation is unpleasant and stressful. This is also probably one of the biggest reasons why more people are not assertive. This can be very off-putting. Now, however, this is an important misconception to understand because respect and calm lie at the very core of assertiveness. Respect and calm. Those are the very core of assertiveness, and that completely invalidates this idea of being confrontational and picking fights with others. That's not what assertiveness is about. Confrontations aren't always avoidable, but that does not make them part and parcel of assertiveness. Just because you are assertive does not automatically mean you need to pick fights or be confrontational. Confrontation most certainly is not an automatic and consistent result of being assertive. You can be assertive without picking fights, and should. In fact, the strongest and most assertive people rarely ever have confrontations. Think about some of the strongest, most confident and most assertive people you have seen or come across. When I was thinking about an example, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, came to mind, probably because I used to be a big fan of wrestling growing up. Anyway, The Rock is without a doubt one of the most assertive people you will ever come across. But have you ever seen his interactions ending up in fights? Well, I can't. There are tons of examples like this. Think of Oprah or Barack Obama or even the Dalai Lama. Without a doubt, they are very strong and assertive people. Some of the strongest and most assertive and most confident people in the world. But they are rarely ever confrontational. Being assertive and being confrontational are not one and the same thing, and this is an important distinction to understand for you to become more assertive and do so well. So that's the third big one. The fourth big misconception on the list is about anger, and that being assertive means getting angry. What we have talked about so far should make it abundantly clear that this could not be further from the truth. Being assertive is not about getting angry. You can be assertive and be angry at the same time, and many a time that helps, since anger can fuel your ability to speak up about the things that bother you. That said, expressing yourself calmly is pretty much always better than losing your cool. Expressing yourself calmly is always better than losing your cool. Being assertive does not automatically and always mean losing your temper. There is a caveat to this though, and it's that there are times when anger can be useful. Anger does have its purpose and can be beneficial, but that's a topic for another day. As far as assertiveness is concerned, it's important to understand that getting angry and losing your cool is not what assertiveness is about. Yes, they can go hand in hand, but they do not have to. In fact, it is better if they don't. They're not a package deal. it is better for you to be calm when you are assertive, as that is ultimately a far more effective way of dealing with things and getting your point across. So that's the fourth one. The last misconception on the list is about this idea that being assertive means being dishonest or manipulating others. That's a very flawed idea. Assertiveness is not about being dishonest or manipulative. Behaviors like that have nothing to do with being assertive. Manipulation is often confused for assertiveness because people tend to think that being assertive is about getting your way at any cost. But as you know now, that is not what being assertive is about. Assertiveness is about being honest, first and foremost, whereas dishonesty is at the very core of manipulation. They are very, very different. Manipulation is just plain manipulation, nothing more. Manipulation and assertiveness are not even remotely similar. So there you have it, the big misconceptions about assertiveness. We have covered a fair bit, so let's do a quick recap of the 5 big misconceptions and what being assertive is not about. So first and foremost, being assertive is not about being rude and disrespectful. Quite the opposite, since respect lies at the core of assertiveness. Secondly, being assertive does not mean stepping on others. Thirdly, to be assertive, you do need to pick fights, and that's a big misconception, because you don't. You absolutely can be assertive without being confrontational. Fourthly, being assertive does not automatically involve losing your temper. If anything, calm and assertiveness go better together than anger and assertiveness. Just think about Oprah, The Rock, or any other strong people if you need real-life examples. And lastly, assertiveness never involves manipulating others. Manipulation is manipulation and is very different from assertiveness. If you need to remind yourself about these points in more detail, feel free to go back and listen to them again. But if you're clear on them, then you know what assertiveness is, as well as what it is not. Having this clarity is important, and it will be a great starting point for you to make assertiveness part of your life. However, even though understanding what assertiveness is and is not is extremely important and gives you some much needed clarity on the topic, you might still want some more information and pointers to make this a part of your life. I totally get that. And to help you with that, I will explore why assertiveness is important, as well as how you can get started in the next talk. What you have learned here today will get you well on your way to becoming more aware about assertiveness, which is a vital step to being more assertive. Also, knowing about the major assertiveness misconceptions will help you to not only notice them in others, but also will help you to filter them from your own behaviors and thoughts. Knowing these misconceptions will help you to filter the negative attitudes that are often mistakenly believed to be part of being assertive. It will help you become more aware about them. This, in turn, can help you from perpetuating these negative misconceptions about assertiveness. And the clarity on what assertiveness is and is not will also help you become more assertive in the real sense of the word. Here's the bottom line. Most of the ideas about what assertiveness is are nothing more than misconceptions and myths. Most of what you know about assertiveness is flawed. Most people think that being assertive is about being loud or being rude or even about being manipulative, but that could not be further from the truth. Being assertive at the end of the day is about being strong and having faith in yourself. But that does not mean you have to step on others or be manipulative or disrespectful, or even lose your cool to do so. If anything, being assertive at its core is about respect. It is about respecting both your own views and that of others. That's the opposite of being rude, arrogant, disrespectful, or being an all-around jerk. You can be assertive without being a jerk, because being strong does not involve being rude or disrespectful. If anything, rudeness and lack of respect are the opposite of personal strength. Negative behaviors like that hardly ever stand for what being strong is actually all about. It never has to be an either-or choice. You never have to or should choose between being nice and being assertive. They can and do go hand in hand, and you absolutely can be nice in an assertive way. But I'll go over that more in the next talk. As always, I sincerely hope that you found this talk useful and that you took at least one thing away from this that can help you improve your life. If you have any questions you would like me to answer in the next episode, or suggestions or even ideas for future topics, feel free to send them to me. The links are in the description. Also, like, subscribe and share this talk with others, as that is the best way it can help even more people. So do that bit for me. Share, like and subscribe. I look forward to having you all listen in again next week. Same place, same time. Until then, remember to take care of yourself. Alright everyone, have a great week.